It's actually a sweet story. So my mom was always kind of, even though I was like a derelict of a child, my mom was always like in my corner and inspiring me to live a different life. My parents didn't try to make me stay in school. They knew that I was always motivated, always working. They were a little worried for a while, but I had moved from Rhode Island to Vermont and learned how to ski, became a ski bum, and then moved out to Jackson Hole to be a better ski bum. And after 1 year there, I said, I want to go ride on the rooftops of the trains in India. And I bought a one-way ticket out of JFK to go to India. And I called my mom and I said, Mom, I'm moving to India. And her jaw just dropped, and she's like, well, when are you coming back? I'm like, I have no idea, but I'm going to come home and visit you guys before I leave. And so when I came home, we were hanging out. We love cooking together. So we were cooking a big fat Italian dinner. And she had this little coffee table book that she bought at a used book sale. And it said, make your own handmade soap. And I grew up on Ivory and Irish Spring. I didn't know you could make soap. So I read it and I was like, oh, this is so cool. And my mom had, she hadn't even read the book yet. And the next day I went to the hardware store and bought lye and gloves and goggles. And I went to a natural food store and bought coconut oil and olive oil and essential oils and smelled essential oils for the very first time. I didn't even know what they were. And the second I lifted an essential oil to my nose, the memory is still in my head. It was lemon essential, something very basic. I felt like new neural pathways opened up in my head. I couldn't believe what I was smelling. And I went home and surprised my mom with goggles, and we made a batch of soap. And I thought in my head, there's no way this is going to turn into soap, because I don't know if you've ever made soap, but it's like, nope. It's basically taking alkali, lye, and fat, and through a process called saponification, and it turns into this like soup. And we put it in a Tupperware, put a towel over it. And my mom and I notoriously wake up really early. Neither one of us barely sleep. Woke up at 5:30 a.m., opened up the Tupperware, it had hardened. And we were both like, wow, it smells amazing. It was like oatmeal, lavender, lemon, patchouli. And we cut it up into bars. And my mom had crocheted these washcloths for me to take to India. And I wrapped the bars up in the washcloths, threw them in the bottom of my backpack, because they have to cure for a while. And I kind of forgot about them. But after a month in India, my stuff started smelling pretty bad. And, I was living like a dirty backpacker. And I was unloading my backpack one day, and this like plume of good smelling things came out of my backpack. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot I have this soap. And so in India, there's this thing called a bucket shower. You pay 5 rupees, which is like a nickel, to get a hot bucket of water. And you just go out and take a shower, like in the woods. And so I bought a bucket of hot water, and I took this bar soap, and it foamed up and it lathered. And what was shocking to me at that point in my life is when I was done showering, there was no film on my skin. Like Ivory and Irish Spring, they leave this film because they're basically made of chemicals. All that was left was like soft skin that smelled like lemon and like lemon verbena and lavender. And I was like, where has this been my whole life?